Hi, welcome everyone back to our DHW Human Library. So, today we will have one of our graduates sharing with us about his life, his schooling experience, and what he is up to today. So, without further ado, can I pass the time to our special guest, and he will introduce himself and he will let you know more about himself. So let me pass the time to you.
Hello everyone, I'm Mahroof. I graduated from Delia Hippo in 2012, and then I went abroad to study, which was Taiwan. And today I'm here to share my experience with you. It will be about my school life here in Hong Kong and also about Taiwan.
Okay, let me just interrupt you a little bit. So can we go back a little bit behind? So actually, if I'm correct, you were the same school, your schoolmate, classmate was MJ, who is a boxer right now.
Yes.
MMA.
Michael John, yes.
Okay, and we had an episode on him earlier. And can you tell us something about your schooling experience in Hip War? Is there any moments that you can think of that you want to share with the audience?
Basically, I'll go with like my junior years and then senior years. So going into Delia Hippo, it was a new thing for us, Form 1, and then we just started off. At that time, I was my first 3 years were like they were not they were really tough. Like they were not that easy for me. Basically, it was because of my myself. I was quite passive, and then I was not like the way I am today. Like there was not that much confidence talking to people, like going out and then talking to different people. And then, but then once it went to senior years, Form 4, that was the time where that was the change. It was a big change for me. Basically, we had a lot of opportunities. We went through like a lot of events. It was really because English being not my first language, it was really hard for me before in first 3 years. But then afterwards, after attending like multicultural festivals and parent teachers nights, hosting the events, I got the opportunities. That really made me, I had no fear later on. I think those 3 years were really crucial for me, because those 3 years really made a change in my life. First 3 years, I was only looking, my future plans after Form 6 and everything. It was really different. It was quite different from what I was planning to do after studying in my senior years. First, I was planning, when I was in Form 3, I even played cricket for Hong Kong under 17 team. So I toured at that time for the Hong Kong team. So at that time, I was only thinking about sports. Education was not in my field. I was not planning to do further studies. But once I got into Form 4, the opportunities we had, and then the inspirational talks and motivational talks there were a lot of people who gave us. They were like our teachers also. And then once we got to know the importance of education, like at that moment, I decided to study further.
So let's put it in this way. So you had a lot of opportunities while you were schooling in Delia Hippo. So can I say that those opportunities created some success, and that small success gives you more confidence and stand out and fight for more?
Yes, as I said, my first 3 years after, joining, going to Form 4, the confidence that I had was really, it was a big change, for me, because, joining speech festivals, one of the great thing really, I really appreciate, my class teacher, Dr. Riz.
Sorry, don't mention really, about me. Talk about yourself.
who really, motivated us to join the speech festival. I joined that for like 3 years. and really that really made a big change. Today, even when I sit with my friends and we share our experiences, and that is the thing which I really appreciate from my school.
And is it printed here?
Yes, it is printed.
Thank you for that.
It is really printed here. And then outside academics, there were things we went out to give. I had an opportunity. We hosting the Parents Teachers Night, multicultural festival, and then there were a lot of opportunities. I think that is the thing where really which made a big change. Today I can, the way I have the confidence, I'm just ready up for anything, just talk to anyone.
So let's look at one thing now. I'm sure you are aware of the fact that in many media outlets, newspaper, government departments, a lot of people in the society, they say ethnic minorities cannot do well because they are studying in schools which has a lot of ethnic minorities, and then they are doomed to fail. So what's your view on this, Mahroof?
My view on this will be, I think it doesn't that's not a big reason. It's because of the ethnic minorities studying together. Because our batch, we had 8 to 9 students from my class getting into universities here. But then personally, you know yourself. We if it's not academics, or if it's not you can do great in educational level, I think there are other things, other skills we have, or the ethnic minorities, they do have, which they can apply, or basically, if they want to do further studies, basically they can go, they will try other pathways.
So you said it's not about the school, rather if there are opportunities provided for the students and they grasp on it, like in your experience, you took part in a lot of activities, represented Hong Kong for the cricket, these actually make you strive for more, advance yourself a little more.
Yes.
Am I correct?
Yes. It was like a way of learning. Every opportunity which I had was, even now, if I'm having a opportunity or anything where I go and I have an experience about it, afterwards I really think about it, and then I'll see what I've learned from the day, whatever I do at the time.
So now, since like you mentioned to the audience, I was your class teacher, so let me be a little frank. So I know you didn't do well in your public exam, DSE.
Yes.
Yeah, but you end up with a degree. So can you share with us? We would be very interested. If you don't do well in DSE, it doesn't mean end of the world. So tell us a little bit about your journey after receiving that shock, or you knew it wasn't a shock, you knew it already, you would not be doing well.
Yes, basically, you know yourself better than anyone. And then you had the mock exam, before you had this preparation exam before DSE. So actually, I already knew this thing, that I was not doing that well. But then I still had the hope. We did apply for universities here. We went into the JUPAS system, but then unfortunately not getting selected here in Hong Kong. The opportunities and all the plans which we made beforehand, I think that was really helpful, because the thing is, if at that time we didn't have this thing, if we had no plans, and basically just now you said about the end of world thing, I think it only happens when you have no plan, A, B, C. If you only have A and then you stuck there, and then I think you feel down, you let yourself down, and then that's why you'll say it's end of the world. My experience afterwards, after Delia Hippo, going into a university, studying abroad, it was everything. Of course, there's another step of your life, and
where did you study?
I studied in Taiwan.
Why did you choose Taiwan?
Why I studied Taiwan, we had opportunity to go there and see the education and university life there before I chose to study there. And then the other reason was it was not only about a degree, it was about setting myself up as becoming a bit different from someone studying over here. There was opportunity of me learning another language, which was Mandarin, and that was a bonus. So, and which I did, and now I have another language with me. I can speak and communicate well in Mandarin.
你的普通话好不好？
好，很好。
很好。我的好不好？不好。
还可以，还可以。
可以。Okay. So, tell us, like when you were studying in Taiwan, how was, like, if you compare yourself with your peers who studied in Hong Kong, what differences do you see?
The differences I see is basically I'll just tell you about myself. There was a lot of difference in me after going out, becoming more independent because it was a broad life. Staying in a university away from home, which was really difficult. Starting, our starting life was difficult. Basically, I'll just share one problem with you that was about our being a Muslim. We had a big food problem there when we went there. But then, we did try what we learned from Hippo. I did use these skills there. Even in Delia Hippo, when we had problems, we will write proposals to the head committee in Hippo. So that's we had this idea, and we went to the international office of our school in Isho University. So over there we wrote a proposal for a kitchen, and our second term we started cooking food. Yes, they did grant us. I think there's not a big problem of if the students are having any problem, they will provide you with solutions.
So, what other experience you had when you were studying there? Like, did you have any internship experience there?
I had internship experience. Actually, our university belongs to one group, which is IDA, and so they have their companies which are mainly about steel manufacturing. So I did had an internship for 2 months, which was also which is needed for our university. We have to do an internship to graduate, or you have to do overseas studies, a semester exchange program. So I did it in a steel manufacturing company.
Okay, so you had an internship experience.
Yes.
You fight for some student rights in particular, which I'm sure the juniors who are studying there, they benefited from the scheme. And also, there are some of our students, they study in another university in Taipei. Like there's one student, Nibesh, he also was doing some boxing there, and then he ended up becoming an MMA fighter, and he recently had a fight in Hong Kong and he won the match. So did you do something similar in Taiwan?
So outside academics and education, I was part of the cricket development program in Taiwan.
The whole Taiwan?
Yes, basically whole Taiwan. And then what we achieved from our program was that now we have Chinese Taipei Cricket Association.
Oh, okay.
Yes, and basically now the people, once they got to know about cricket, actually was not that famous. We only had foreigner teams. But then once they got to know about this, now we have an association, and then basically they are applying for the International Cricket Council's committee. Like they want to be member of ICC. And other than that, we did achieve we are having some coaching, like umpiring courses, and they are sending coaches to local schools because it was really hard, very tough, because in Taiwan, baseball is their national sports, I would say.
And cricket is coming there.
It's coming there. So it was really hard for us. But then, if you work hard, there always fruitful moments later on. So once I graduated from Isho University in Taiwan, we did come up with a association now, and who are running the programs there for cricket.
So the other thing is, like, once you finish your studies, you come back to Hong Kong. Like, I'm sure, like, a lot of your friends, or even some of my colleagues outside, or friends, they'd say, hey, why go Taiwan? Is it recognized? Now, like, how, if you can look back, like, all your investment in the 4 years, so what is that now? What do you have to tell the people now?
For I did had the same experience. I went to the I usually go to Delia school sometimes, and there are students who will approach me and they will ask same questions. I have friends also, they said like, did you regret about studying in Taiwan? So basically my answer to them was not. I don't regret being there. And if they once they come up with the question of recognized or not, I got my degree accredited from Hong Kong. Yes.
So what is the result?
The result is it equals to Hong Kong bachelor's degree.
An honors degree.
Yeah, an honors degree.
So you are a qualified man.
I'm a qualified person to study, even if I want to further study my from bachelor's to master's degree, I can study in any university in Hong Kong.
So basically, you are a qualified university graduate now. You can speak fluent Putonghua. You know how to run an association which you establish in the whole Taiwan. And then you had internship experience. And most importantly, you become an independent person.
I would like to add one thing.
Yes.
About basically for students who are looking forward to study. If you want to choose another pathway the way I did, if you want to study in our university, Isho University in Taiwan, we have started up Isho Alumni Association. So and then on 28th we are starting. I'm hosting that ceremony too for our association on 28th October.
So people can always approach you.
Yes. So we have our office in TST. So once our business cards are out, basically I'll
Okay,
try to.
For this, you need to talk behind the camera, not in front of the camera. So now, if you have anything special that might be interesting, well, for us to know, or a message that you would like to convey to the audience who would be watching this Human Library episode, what is the message that you would like to convey?
Basically, my message is, if you look at my experience, it's never end of the world. That's just a saying. I think if you just keep on looking for opportunities, there are a lot of opportunities. I wouldn't advise you just go to Taiwan. There's a lot of other universities abroad. It can be anywhere. So but then the thing is basically just every learning experience, I think there should be something to learn. I think if you go somewhere and then just go without learning, I think it's just not useful. Basically, once you go somewhere, there should be like even a bit of it. There should be something. Maybe it can be an experience like me. I had an experience. I gave a speech for Pakistan Student Association, and that was it. I had no fear afterwards talking to people. Like talking to the crowd in front of me, and that's where I started. Do public speaking.
So basically, you are telling the audience you should not stop dreaming. You should dream for something, aspire for it, and if you have the heart, you can always achieve something. And do you have any quote to end our interview with the audience?
Oh, I have one quote. you know, life is full of difficulties.
Right.
If it's not difficult, it's not life.
And there's always solution.
Yes, there's always solutions.
Okay. So ladies and gentlemen, that was Mahroof, our graduate in 2012, who is now a qualified graduate and recognized qualification from obtained from Taiwan. Natives, well, I wouldn't say native, but a fluent speaker in Putonghua, and then a person who have seen more in his 4 or 5 years, more independent, and of course a good speaker, I would say. And let's hear from Mahroof in the future again. So please, if you like this video, remember to share in your network. Thank you.